Hello and welcome to Indies Tech and welcome to Python game development. My name is Ahmed Shoaib and I am excited to take you through today's tutorial. This tutorial is designed for someone with no Python knowledge and also for people with experience. In this video, we will dive deep into the world of Python, starting from the very basics and maturing in a practical game development project. We will develop a multiple choice question and answer game. We will begin by getting familiar with the Python IDLE, which stands for Integrated Development Environment, understanding how to use it effectively, and managing file directories. We will explore essential programming concepts like control flow with if, else, for, and while loop, which are fundamental for writing logical and efficient coding. After laying down the basics, we'll move into more complex topics such as nested if-else statements and logic operators like and or not. You will learn how to use these operators. The best way to learn any programming language is through the documentation provided by the manufacturer. So for this tutorial, I will always follow the instruction provided by the official Python website. So if you just go to this website, python.org downloads release, and you will see the latest release here. Now, if you just click at the bottom to find the download link, here you can see download Python 3.12.5. Now, so my version is 3.11, but regardless of what, it will work. Now, if I just go to the Windows Start and just write IDLE, this part of the tutorial may be the most important part in this tutorial, because if you don't get your IDLE right, this tutorial is no good at all. So you make sure you search this way IDLE and you choose this white icon IDLE. There is another IDLE, don't click that one. So if you just click this one, IDLE Python 3.11, which I previously downloaded, just click it, double click, then you will see the window will appear. This window is called Windows Shell, Python IDLE Shell. And there are second window which you can get file, new file. So the second window is called Python File Editor. So if I just write here, # means comment. If you write # beginning of the any line of the code, the Python interpreter, the compiler will think that this is just a comment. They will not execute it as a code. So no error at all. So I write, this is just a comment. Next, I will write some small code, print, then bracket, stop, hello world. Now, if I run this code, it will ask me to save it first and give it a name. So if I go this way, give it a name as test code, save. So here you can see this part of the code has been executed, but the outcome has been shown here. So file editor, this part is for the writing the script, but the script will execute at the IDLE shell. IDLE shell also can be used for testing small snippets of code. For instance, if I just write 2 plus 4, then it will show 6. Same way you can write the same code, print hello world. and it will just exactly show that how it will interpret. But you can't save any part of the ideally shell here. Ideally shell, you can treat it as just a window where you see the outcome, but the backend programming will always happen at the file editor. So you make sure you run your code, you write your code, then you save it. So you can save it this way: file, save. So the code will be saved. If I write 2 plus 2, run, or I will just write print 2 plus 2, then run. So as you can see, 4. To make the code more tidier, I can write print then run the module. As you can see, the answer comes as 4. So this is the basic concept of Python PowerShell and the Python file editor. So at the beginning, it's really important that you understand the difference between PowerShell and the file editor. PowerShell, you never write any code here. You should write code in the file editor. Then you save the code and you execute. And when you execute the code, the result is shown in the PowerShell. Okay, now for better understanding, I kept the PowerShell here, and this is our file editor. So PowerShell, file editor, and this is the Python documentation page. This part is for the tutorial, Python tutorial. You can just search here Python tutorial, and you will get this page. Otherwise, I will leave the link at the description. So here are some examples. They all uses the PowerShell programming, which is not actually, because the programming happens in the file editor. So here you can see they have put 2 plus 2. If we can just copy this 2 plus 2, Control C, and write it down, paste it down in the PowerShell, you can see we get the same answer. Same goes for this one. Whenever you see this symbol, that means that is the code is in PowerShell. The difference is that you can't save this code. You can't execute it later on. As soon as you click this button, the PowerShell is gone. There is no memory of the code. On the other hand, if you go to the bottom, this example, if we just write I equal 256 multiply 256, then print apostrophe the value of I is, then apostrophe comma, then I. So this is a code. If I execute this, you will see. If I just run it, run module, save, here you can see this background code is been executed, but it's not showing here because it will show only whatever in the print command. And the more interesting is that we just wrote the value of I is, this part is static. It's not changing, but this part is interactive. So here you can see it has connected the whole string of line. The value of I is the multiplication of 256 times 256. We can explore some more tutorials. Let's explore text. So here the good thing is that it's very interactive and it is well mentioned, because these tutorials are written by no one other than the Python developers. So there are different data type. Here you can see I is integer data type, and if you want to write something, these are string data type. So inside this part in the print command is string. So this part inside the print command is string. Means that these are just alphabetical lines. Now it shows Python using Python as a calculator, means that we can use it as a calculator inside the PowerShell. We can just write 500 multiply 500 and it will give us the answer. So this part is interactive. But if you want to create a code which will be dynamic, depending on the input, it will give the output, multiply something, then we will write here. Then if we go back to the documentation again, we see the another data type, list. So these are the list. List are written with the third bracket. So if I just copy the whole thing, so squares equal these numbers. Now if I just write square itself, so as you can see, I have done a mistake here. There's a typo here. So it's asking me if this is something if I want. So if I just write yes, no. So if I need to write squares. So that's how you define something with the list. So the list data type lets you define a parameter. So here the parameters are these numbers and the name of the parameters is squares. Now I would like to keep this course as beginners friendly. So let's focus on few key concepts. Let's focus on control flow, if else, for and while statements. We will understand the basic control flow structure in Python. So the first one will be the if-else statements. The display you can see is here from my articles, which the link will be provided at the description with many other educational content. If-else statements are used for conditional execution of code blocks. These statements allow the program to execute certain section of code based on whether a condition evaluates to true or false. If-else statements are used for conditional execution of code blocks. These statements allow the program to execute certain sections of code based on whether a condition evaluates to true or false. Here is a breakdown of how if-else statements work. So as you can see, the basic structure, typical basic structure of if-else statement should look like this. So if, then a condition and the text. So if condition, then else. So if this does not happen, then else this will happen at the code. Now the third one is the elif. So they come in a block like this. So if condition happens, this code will be executed. Otherwise, the elif condition will be executed. If none of them happens, then the third condition will be executed. Here is an example that demonstrates how to use if, elif, and else statement. So let's produce some result. Now let's write a code where a question and answer game will be produced. So basically this part of the code will ask the user age, and the age is entered less than 13 years old. This will be printed. If the user entered the age less than 20 years old, this will be displayed. Otherwise, you are an adult, this text will be displayed. Now the same if-else statements can be modified based on the uses in a nested code. Nested code are if-else condition inside another if-else. So for instance, this part, age 25, if age less than 18, print you are a minor, else if age less than 65, print you are an adult, else print you are a senior. So these are the structure concept of the if, elif, and else statement. This one is straightforward, and this one at the below is called nested code. In this example, if age is less than 18, it prints you are a minor. Now let's talk about the logical operator. Python provides several logical operators that are used to perform logical operations. These operators are primarily used to combine conditional statements and control the flow of logic in your code. The main logical operators are these: and, or, not. And the uses look like this. So result equal, so basically you are defining here result equal expression 1 and expression 2. A equal true, B equal false. Print A and B, the output is false. By the way, this hash means that this text is not part of the code. These are hashes used for commenting, so I can write anything in this part. So print A and B, print A and the true. You can just print this code in your Python file editor. So Control C, then go to your file editor. So if I write this code here, Control V. So let's give it a name as DLT because I'm gonna delete this code. So if I just write it, then run it. So it just run and produce this result, false and true. The next one is the OR operator. The OR operator returns true if at least one of the operands is true. So NOT operator. The NOT operator is unary operator that inverts the truth value of the operand. If the operand is true, it returns false. If the operand is false, it returns true. So basically completely opposite. So result equal not expression, A equal true, B equal false. If I can just copy the code like before, Control C, and then go to my previous code, Control A, and delete all this, and Control V. So basically I am copying this code here. So if I run it, this is the result produced. Same goes for combining the logic operators. You can combine multiple logic operators to form complex logical expressions. So the three operators A, B, and C, true, false, true. So result equal A and B or not C. So print result. What will happen if I just copy this code? So Control C, same, go to my Python file editor and Control A, select the previous code and delete, then Control V, pasted this code and run. So the run module, it produced the result false. So the idea behind is that You copy and paste the code in the article, then try to understand the workflow, what is happening in the code. So the practical example, let's check multiple condition. So if I just copy this code without reading any of the things in the article, just Control C and going to my Python file editor again, like before, Control A, delete, Control V, then run. Okay, so basically it asks for the age and it defined the age equal 25, has license true. Now, if the age equal or greater than 18, so here we are using the if statement. So if age greater than 18 and has license, print you can drive, else print you cannot drive. So if I just give the age less than 18, so if I just age is 15 and run the code, it will write you can't drive. So run. You can't drive. So this is the complete example with all the concept, all the control flow statements, if, elif, and else. Without saying further explanation, I would just copy the code from the top and see the outcome. Just the code only, Control C, and going to my Python file editor, then Control A, delete, Control V. So this is the code. If I just run, basically with this code, I have designed a question and answer game. So at the initialization, it will ask for the age on the Python IDLE shell. So what is your age? If I just write whatever random, Control 15. So, but before I press enter, let's check what is 15. So number 15 is less than 19. So if age less than 19, it's supposed to show this, it's supposed to print this part of the text. So if I just enter it, so here you can see I programmed based on the user inter. So as you can see, I programmed based on the user input, which is number 15. So if the user input is number 15, with the if statement, this line of code will be executed, which is basically this. It will print, you are a teen, don't worry, acne is temporary, you are not in your teen or 20s. Now, if I run the code again, it will ask for the age again. How about if I put this time 45? So these are the code. These are the execution result. You are in your 40s. Life begins at 40. They say you are not in your teens or 20s. So this number 45 is executing this part of the code. No, this part of the code. So if the age is 40 to 49, so this means if the age is 40 to 49, if I just comment out, so hash 40 to 49. So this will be written. Now let's run the code again. What is your age? I put 51. You are in your 50s. Embrace the wisdom that comes with age. You are not in your teens or 20s. So basically number 51 will execute this block of the statement and it will print this. You are in your 50s. Embrace the wisdom that comes with age. Now let's go back to our articles. So here is the example part which I have already explained, but you feel free to explore the article. It will provide you some support. Now, using logical operator like or not, allows you to create more complex and flexible conditions in your code. This is especially true for combining multiple checks or excluding specific groups based on certain criteria. You can use logical operator and or not to combine multiple operations in if statements. So previously we talked about the logical operator and or not, but this time we're talking about using it inside a statement. So here you can see age equal 30 is underscore under slash student equal false if age less than 18 or is underscore student print you are eligible for discount. Let's just copy this code, Ctrl C, go to our Python file editor, Ctrl A, delete the previous code, Ctrl V and run and see what happens. Okay, so this part we did not put any integer. If we just go back to our previous code, so I will Ctrl C here, Ctrl Z, going to our previous code. Okay, so this part will ask the question if I just select all and Ctrl V. Let's run this code and see what happens. So in this case, it is asking for the age. So if I just put age 19, which will be executing else statement, because if age less than 18, so age 19, here is the text, this part of the text. You are not eligible for a student discount. So this is a good way of visualizing how if or else statement can work inside working with other operands like or, and. If we just go back to the article, we see the further example. So this is just the little bit broader version of the code I just executed. So it asks for the age, then if the user enter the age which is less than 19, it prints you are a teen, don't worry, acne is temporary. Then the elif condition comes, age between 19 to 29. So here age is less than 19, but here with the operand is like between 19 to 29. 30 to 39, 40 to 49. So here it sets a limit, this line. It's not like this line where it says less than 19. Here it sets a limit which is 19 to 29. Same like here, 30 to 39 and 40 to 49. So these are some very clever way of manipulating and using different code terminology. The only way to mature this concept is just by practicing. So I would recommend that you see my article, also see the Python documentation, and then copy and paste this code to your Python file editor, save it and play it and see how it behaves. From there, you will get some key concepts of how Python really works. Now, the topic 2, we will discuss the procedural programming and functions. There are many programming techniques, but for the beginner level, procedural programming is easier way of learning. Here we will start with procedural programming before transitioning to object-oriented programming. So these are two concepts. So the first one is really basic, beginner friendly, called procedural programming. And the second one is object-oriented programming. There are also functional programming. Functional programming is in between these two, procedural programming and object-oriented programming. With all this concept, you need to understand defining and calling functions. The purpose and advantages of using functions. Now see the code. we have defined with this keyword def and see the code structure. What happens if I just copy this code? So if I just copy this code and paste to my file editor and run, so here it asks for so what is the code doing? So it's printed. So what is the code doing? It shows that it printed 2024 Tesla Model Y 100 kilowatt battery. The Model Y can go approximately 405 miles on a full charge. Why is it showing this? If we just go back to the explanation, so we have described the function, and let's get the code at the same time. So basically, it says that the function has been described with a model, year, and battery. So these are like a different column in a, how to say, a CSV file or Microsoft Excel file. So there are three columns. First one is model, year, and battery. So you give some information under. So similar concept, but in more Python way. So it says, describe Tesla, takes the model, year, and battery size as input and returns a string described the Tesla car. Now the string, these are some technical words for programming. These words will not be discussed here, but you can copy and search this and understand what it means. So this code basically take this information, then defining calculate range. So the range also does this. Now defining print range. Now defining print range, model, battery size, etc. This example illustrates how procedural programming can be used to organize and execute code related to Tesla car without using classes or object. Each function performs a specific task, and main function coordinates this task to achieve the desired output. Let's convert the procedural programming example into an object-oriented programming. In this object-oriented programming or OOP version, we will create a Tesla car class that encapsulates the car properties and method. So we can compare the procedural programming and object-oriented programming side by side here. If we just get the file editor open. Okay, so here you can see the first line here. This one is defining, but here it is creating a class. So inside the class, it starts with def init. This is a concept. This is a programming concept, def init. It always inside the class. And these are the beauty of object-oriented programming, which is quite advanced for the beginners. But as you go along, if you just research this code and study Python documentation, you will understand the key concept behind this. Here I have provided the example. Here I have provided the explanation. So the class definition, Tesla car represents a Tesla car with attributes and methods. So init method, the constructor the constructor method that initializes the model, year, and battery sizes attributes. Described method returns a string, describe the car. Calculate range method that is another part of the code. So calculate range. So these are all method. Every time you see with anything with def and def, so this is defining something, and it is called method in object oriented programming. So all the methods has a name. So this is the name of the method or function. Then it always write self inside, then hyphen, if, elif, or other statement follows. Key difference from procedural programming and object-oriented programming. These are the advanced concept, but just for the sake of information, you can have a look or do further research. So encapsulation, the Tesla car class encapsulates all the related properties and behaviors of a Tesla car. The bundling of data and methods into a single unit class is a key feature of object-oriented programming. It has reusability and modularity. The class provides a reuse blueprint for creating Tesla car objects, and each object can have its own state. Also, another concept called object instances. All these concepts you can just Google search and get further information. But as considering the content of this course, I would like to keep it as minimized. I would just trying to introduce you, and this is your chance to do further research. The instances, my Tesla is the instances. If we just go at the top, so where is my Tesla? Print range, miles. So my Tesla. So this structure is called instances. My Tesla equal Tesla car model year 2024. This part of the code is basically inputting this information, and then this information is processed with the class method in the object-oriented programming. In this part of the course, I will introduce how you can utilize ChatGPT to enhance your learning. When I started Python 10 years back, the learning process was different. But with the advent of ChatGPT, the learning is significantly easier. For instance, if you just go to my course and get all the example from Python condition, now you get this line. If you can just copy it and paste it to the ChatGPT, then write provide Python example based on above. So you can see that line by line example code is written. Now also the explanation is provided. So as you can see, the line by line code is written. Also the explanation is provided as well. So if you just copy this code and go to your Python IDLE, as you can see, I have already created an example Python file in the code editor, and I give it a name dltnow.py. So if I just Control A all, this is my test bed. So Control V. So basically this code I pasted here. Now if I can run it, I will just put it here because the other part will come shortly. So if I just run it, if I can just run it, then I get the answer. If I go back to my code again, so back to the course page. Now the second snip of code, if I just again select and copy all, Control C, then going back to my ChatGPT, Control V, I get the exact code. If I just write elaborate the above code with different example. Then it provide another example code and also provide the explanation of line by line code. If I just copy this part and go back to my Python file editor and find the file, delete now, then again Control A and delete the previous code, Control V, then run the module. Here you can see. So you can see what is happening here. Now you can see the code and you can see the outcome of the code and the explanation you get from ChatGPT. Now, if I go back to the course page again and get the further example, all the way to this code, Control C. So this time I'm not going to the ChatGPT first. First I'm going to copy and paste this part of the code to the file editor again. Control A, delete previous code, Control V, just paste all. Now if I run the code, so you can see it has provided an output. You are a teenager. Now how about deliberately I do some mistake, like a spelling mistake. So instead of writing age, I just write age. So if I run now, you can see I have an error. Now as a beginner it's really difficult to deal with the error, but for the but for today, as you have got the ChatGPT, you just copy all the error, Control C, select Control C, then go back to your ChatGPT window and paste the whole code. Then it will explain what is the error about, why is the error happening. So if I just paste it, so it is providing that the spelling mistake I have done in the code. Or you can do is that you copy the whole code. No, you go to your file editor, copy the code you are having the error with, Control C, then go to your ChatGPT and paste the code, Control V, then give some comment. I am having the error below with the above code. Then paste the error this time as well. So for that you go to your Python ideally and copy the error, just this red highlighted part, copy, then Control V. So it will provide you, as you can see, it has provided the example code by eliminating the mistake. So previously I have the spelling mistake of age, I just wrote ag, but this time the ChatGPT has provided me the right code. So this way you can get quite a bit of insight what is happening at the background. Now if I copy this part of the code, it's really difficult to copy with my touchpad mouse. Control C, then go back to the Python file editor, Control A, delete the previous code, Control V, run. So it has provided some output. I do some deliberate mistake like last time, just getting some spelling mistake and run the code. you can see it has provided the following error. Now, to make things more tidier, if I just copy Ctrl C, then Ctrl V, just write the above code providing the, and then Ctrl A, all these, Ctrl C. Basically, I made it ready-made with the code and the subsequent error, and paste it to the ChatGPT. Ctrl V, ChatGPT will come up with the right code. So here you can see it has provided the explanation that there was a typo happened before. The correction B was incorrectly set to false, which is not recognized by Python. The correction boolean should be false, F-A-L-S-E, false. So it is explaining the boolean operation. Now, if you don't know what is boolean, you just write some of the technical term you don't know. Just write please explain. Then it will provide you that what is boolean in terms of Python programming language. So as you can see, it is providing line by line example. Now you have got your example code. See, all the explanation is given with the explanation 2, explanation 3. You can ask any question related to that code. You can ask to advance the code. If you just Control V the code and just eliminate the false thing and the error thing and say advance the above code. So this is a little concept, provide you some idea that how you can utilize ChatGPT for your Python learning enhancement. Now let's get familiarized with the language quiz game. Now this code is written in Python programming language, and the coding style followed is object-oriented programming. As you can see, the telltale sign of object-oriented programming are that attributes and methods. So the attributes used is self.quizData, self.logoimage, self.userprofile. I will provide you detailed code. For now, just concentrate on the code workflow. So this is the Python code, and the input of the code is a CSV file, gn.csv. This file can be downloaded from the link provided below. Now there are two inputs. One is that a PNG image. So this is the image, and the name of the image is cg.png. Then you have gn.csv file. So two input. This input goes to the Python code. Then the output is that it takes the user image. As you can see, it took my image. Then it also timestamp. It's not visible too small here. This is the timestamp, the date and time and the name of the user. So at the beginning of the code, there is a pop-up window will open. Let's open the code first. So if I go to Python, open. So if I open this German quiz game.py, so as you can see, this is the code. So, and this is written in object-oriented programming. It has got these attributes. The attributes are self.quizData, self.logo underscore image, and self.userprofile. So these and the methods are followed with init, register users profile, capture users, update questions, all these. Now try to compare these attributes and methods with the actual code. Then you will get some basic idea about the code structure of object-oriented programming. Now, what happens if I run the code? Now it will ask for my name. If I put my name as Engis user, so I put this name as Engis user, press enter. Now it will take a picture of me. So for the picture, my webcam LED light just flashed, and as you can see here, there's a pop-up window came. If I click on the pop-up window, so this is the code started. Now this is the question, and there are 4 multiple choice answer. One of the answer is right. What happens? So basically it says hello in English, and what is the equivalent in German. So if I just click hello, then this is the correct answer, and it will be highlighted as green. How about the goodbye? Goodbye, I'm sure it's not the danke, so deliberately I do a mistake. If I choose the wrong answer, it will be highlighted as red. So as you can see, automatically it jumps to the next question and answer. So if I do all this, so my score, this is my final score 3 by 10. Now if I go to the folder, there's a result folder. All the quiz game since I have played with me and with my children are written here, can be found here. So there are 3 output provided by the code. So the outputs are, so the first output is the picture, second output is the quiz result, and the wrong answers. So 2 text file will be created. One is the quiz, my scores, detail score, how much score I got, and the other one will list the word I did the mistake, so I can practice. I can come back and practice later on. And on the file, it looked like this. So here you can see. So today is 15th of August. It's all showing my February result. Now if I go to nineteenth of May, I can see it's a little bit tricky to find the correct date. So if I just search it with 15 underscore, here you can see it's the 15th of August. So 3 file created, the wrong answer file, the quiz result, and user picture. I'll just snip it first, new. If I just snip all them. So there are 3 output has been generated by the code. If I go to my PowerPoint slide, so here you can see it is generated 3 output, and this 3 output for today is these 3. Now let's investigate what is inside. So first of all, the quiz result. So the quiz result is just a text format. So it says my name. So name is the Engis user, webcam image, result user picture taken, and the time. This is a date and the time. And the list of the wrong answer I did. So these are the answers I've done wrong. So off, Wiedersehen, I'm still learning in German. So it says goodbye, danke means thank you, nein means no, then others which are difficult to pronounce, and I'm still learning, as I said. So if I close them, and let's go to my image. So this is the image taken, and as you can see, the image has been time stamped with the name I put, time 15th of August, and also the time. Now if I let it go and go for the code explanation, so for that you need to go to the website. The link will be provided. Let's open it. So in this article, I have detailed the whole course, including the beginner level concept like basic Python procedural programming with basic structure, example uses, nested if-else statement, logic operators. You can read all this till you get the very bottom with the detailed explanation of the code and the input file you require. So for that, if I go further below all the way till here. So here is the file you can access from here, language quiz game. If you click on that file, it will take you to this Google Docs and you can see the code is given. So this is the code and this is a CSV file and CG file. Copy all this and put your Python directory. Now, how are you going to put it in your Python directory? As a beginner, I struggled a lot with the Python directory. So the easy way to access your Python directory is you open your code, then you go to File, Open, then here you will see the file path. So this is your Python directory. So if you Control C, then you go to your File Explorer and just copy and paste on this place. So if I copy and paste, so this is my file directory. Here I will copy and paste the 3 file. Here, this 3 file should be on that Python directory before you opening the game, and it will be accessed from the beginning. Now, the further explanation, if I go back again, so I mentioned that this is written in object-oriented programming, then with all the data structure, and this is a CSV file. CSV file is basically a text file, but when you save it, you give it a name. So I give it a name GN, then you save it as .csv. So you just save the text file as gn.csv. Now it has 2 columns, English and German, so the format needs to be maintained. You can modify this for some other multiple choice question and answer game. For instance, as a field engineer, sometimes I do read manuals and I can make a multiple choice question based on the manual answers for me to practice. So one column is the question and the other column is the answer. So hello, hello, goodbye, off, rejection, like this. If you go further below, I started doing the code explanation in this part. So it shows all the library you require from the actual code. Then the init method for the object-oriented programming. And it does all the explanation in this article. Register user profile, capture user picture method, get time stamped from the method, and then little bit graphic user interface with the flowchart. So basically, this is the workflow, another way of describing the workflow. So import library, then the code initialize and it register, then it takes the user picture before it update the question, and it check the answer from the CSV file, and it shows the final score and maintain whole things again and again in a loop. So this is a basic explanation of the code. Now feel free to download the code, play with the code, feel free to modify it